the number of Omicron patients in India has gone up to 38, with Kerala reporting its first case of the new variant. 5 fresh cases surfaced on Sunday, one each in Chandigarh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Kerala. For Andhra and Chandigarh and Kerala, these were the first cases of the variant reported here. Well, to talk more about the Omicron variant and what it means for India, we're now joined by Dr. Rajiv Jayadevan, Vice Chairman, Research Cell, IMA Kerala, Dr. Rajesh Parekh, Director, Medical Research, Jaslok Hospital, Mumbai, and Dr. Vivek Nangia, Principal Director and Head Respiratory Critical Care Medicine, Max Arcade, Delhi. Thank you so much, doctors, for joining us on the program today. And Dr. Jayadevan, first to you, what is your view of, the threat from this new variant, the Omicron variant? Cases have been detected in people who've arrived in the country, but clearly it is here. There are more cases.
Yes, clearly around the world, there is an increasing concern about the Omicron variant. There's no doubt about that. As more data is emerging, we're getting a clearer picture, even though it is not 100% clear right now. What we do know is that it is spreading, and we know that it has the capability now to evade vaccine protection. Now, that is evasion of infection, right? So, in other words, vaccines protect against infection. Delta and Omicron both have the ability to leap past the vaccine protection. But as of now, we don't have any data that this Omicron variant is causing more deaths. We don't have the information. It doesn't mean that it is not causing it. We don't have that information yet. And also that we have no information about vaccines losing their benefit of reducing death rates. In other words, your death protection and severity is expected to remain the same. But as far as Omicron goes, we will have to wait at least a month or two to have reliable data about how it actually performs in the older age groups. We don't expect it to be different, except more people could be getting sick.
Right. Dr. Rajesh Parekh, we've just had, the UK Prime Minister talk about this coming tidal wave of Omicron. They've also announced booster doses will be available to everyone over the age of 18 as a way to counter the spread of Omicron.
Yes. Good morning, Gargi. So what is happening in the UK is the announcement has been on the basis of a study, a robust study, conducted by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Diseases. And the projections from that study estimate that the occupancy of beds in the United Kingdom around March, April, may be about as much as 60% of what had happened during the second wave. And they're, of course, anticipating that there may be several million deaths as well due to Omicron. However, Gargi, there are the indirect effects of the Omicron infections, which we should, I think, pay some attention to because they've been largely ignored so far. For example, in this last 1 month that Omicron has been around, it's exactly a month, on the 11th of November, the first 3 cases were detected in Botswana. And during this month, while there have been no known deaths due to Omicron, there have been 3 million deaths unignored right under our eyes, beyond our peripheral vision. And these are deaths caused due to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, tuberculosis, diarrhea, malaria, cancer. Now, what is happening is because of the diversion of resources and attention towards Omicron and COVID-19, a large number of people who otherwise could have had access to treatment. And mind you, these diseases are either preventable or curable or at best treatable. And in fact, it has been estimated that at the peak of the second wave, more people died of being deprived of treatment for medical illnesses, which exist today than actually due to COVID-19. So I think that's very, very important. Every day, a lack of people are dying due to these diseases. And some of these diseases have been banished from more privileged lives in the West and in our country long ago. And so my concern is that if even there are a large number of hospitalizations with no deaths, with no severity, people are going to die of other illnesses because they're deprived of
All
good
right, so
medical care.
that's a very valid concern that people with other diseases that then don't get the kind of treatment that they should. Dr. Nangia, the fear is, are we in the same sort of situation we were a year ago when cases seemed low, people were going out, and then come February, we're suddenly going to see cases going up with Omicron variant very clearly here. Cases will just start rising, and the worry is again we're going to be in election season then, and we don't want to be in that situation that we saw early this year.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, if we look at it, in the last few weeks, the number of cases used to be less than 20 in Delhi alone. Now the number of cases are gradually rising. It's 50, 60 every day. This number will continue to rise if we continue to party, we continue to socialize and not follow the COVID appropriate behavior. What we need to understand also is that since it's a milder variant, as we presume it to be as of now, then the spread of a milder variant is definitely more because people then tend to ignore their symptoms. Some of them recover without any treatment, so they consider it like a common cold and flu where the symptoms last for 2 to 3 days. But what they don't realize is that they have spread it to so many others in the meantime. That is why my advice to everybody would be that at the first onset of symptom, cold, cough, sore throat, fever, body aches, they should isolate themselves, not worry about whether this is COVID or not, whether this is simple cold flu. They should isolate themselves as a social responsibility towards their family members, towards their friends, towards their colleagues. That is very essential. That is the only way we can check the spread of the disease. Also, that of course, there's a robust mechanism of testing that is going on at the airports right now for all these international travelers. Yet there would be a large number who would be escaping the detection because they may just be in their asymptomatic phase or in their incubation period where the virus may not be detected and yet may be inside their bodies. So there is a very high probability that while we are detecting only 3840, reporting only 3840 cases as of now, there may still be a larger number in our country which has gone undetected, and we'll get to know only in the due course of time.
No, absolutely.
So
we're only finding out now since we decided checking, and already, many of you doctors point out that it's only, a month since we heard about the Omicron variant, but it was obviously around much before that. Absolutely. And it was only detected because of, the checking that took place and the genomic sequencing. So Dr. Jayadevan, in fact, going from what Dr. Nangia just said, the case that has been reported in Andhra Pradesh was of a man who came from abroad, landed in Mumbai, tested negative, then traveled to Visakhapatnam, and there at some point, he developed symptoms, or he was tested perhaps after a few days, and then he tested positive for Omicron. So one can just imagine by that time how much he's traveled. And similarly, as Dr. Nangia was saying, already people have been traveling around for over 2 months now, coming in from various flights from abroad. So it probably is here, and that is the fear. We need to do more robust testing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to do more robust testing, but I will, I'll point out what is called ascertainment bias here. Ascertainment bias basically is when we do testing on people in a selected population. For example, most testing is now happening on healthy people who are arriving from abroad on a flight, and these traditionally younger and vaccinated people. So we may get the impression that these are milder cases and they only occur in people who are crossing the ocean. And that is not true, because nations like Scotland have already reported that they had what is called community transmission even among people who have not traveled. So as you said, this obviously travels between countries by air mostly, but it has been around. I'm sure it would have been around in our country as well. So we should be looking out for clusters. And most of us doctors are already doing that. And if clusters are identified, they must be sent for genomic sequencing. And the standard, the public health measures that were alluded to here must be taken. And what Dr. Parikh said is so important. And for our viewers, I'll just translate it. If there is one taxi cab that can carry 4 people, and suddenly 50 people are trying to flag it down, it's going to be uncomfortable, and nobody will be able to travel nicely. So if there are a lot of people falling sick at the same time, our hospital systems can get overwhelmed, and we really do not want that. So early action, a little bit of prevention early will save a lot of trouble in the end.
No, absolutely. And I can just imagine, healthcare professionals, everyone getting very anxious over the possibility of more cases emerging and going through the same sort of stress they've been going through these last 2 years. Dr. Parekh, now this brings us to the issue of vaccinations and booster doses. As I mentioned, UK Prime Minister has said that vaccination booster doses will be available to those over 18. In India as well, we've seen a lot of people talking about why are we not getting booster doses, but at the same time, a majority of our population is not vaccinated yet. The adult population, where over 50% have got both doses, but we need more for protection. But again, why aren't we getting more, vaccine types in the country? These mRNA vaccines, we still don't have them. It seems, again, we've kind of slowed down on that front. New vaccines haven't come in. Vaccinations for children, that was talked about, but hasn't happened yet. So really, we need a renewed push on this front.
Oh, absolutely, Gargi. And I'm one of those people who, for the past 3 weeks, have been pleading for boosters, at least for immunocompromised patients and healthcare workers. Most of them are due for their boosters by now. And I quite do not understand the dichotomy. Yes, there is a need, of course, to give a lot of people their second dose, but I don't see that as something which is diametrically opposite of giving boosters. Keep in mind, a large number of boosters are just heading into the dustbin because they are expiring. Yes. We are seeing this everywhere. And to me, the choice is between the dustbin and giving the boosters, not between the second dose and the boosters. So yes, you're absolutely right. We need to relook at our vaccination policy. There are many things we need to do, but I do not believe that delaying the boosters is a solution to the multi-pronged problem that we are facing. And let us not forget that in South Africa, in a single day, 24 hours, the number of infections with Omicron went from 200 to 16,000. So the number of cases we are detecting is quite clearly a reflection of the type of testing. I mean, we use testing in a generic sense, but all tests are not equal. Genomic sequencing is the test which detects Omicron. RT-PCR merely detects whether somebody had COVID-19 or not. And in that, mind you, there is a substantial false negative rate. So somebody who is positive could elude the test. And then if that person doesn't get genomic sequencing, we may not even realize it's Omicron. So our numbers
that's right. And we haven't seen clusters break out, in colleges, in medical colleges in Karnataka. We've seen those cases in other places as well. So these clusters of infections. Final, I'm running out of time. Dr. Nangia, your view on this?
So basically, I agree with Dr. Parekh that boosters are very essential, maybe especially for the frontline workers, the high-risk group. But at the same time, I think we're laying too much of reliance on the vaccination also. We should not be thinking that vaccines provide us 100% protection. There is definitely, and we still don't know whether our current vaccines do cover the existing Omicron strain or not. One is that. Second is that there is no way we can be letting our guards down now. We have to be following the COVID-appropriate behavior despite everything. Of course, vaccine is a good thing to take, but at the same time, don't consider it like your 100% efficacy where you're completely protected and you can be partying outside, you can be walking around without the masks.
Unfortunately, I feel people are just fatigued now, and we've just seen, an abandonment of COVID-appropriate behavior going into the New Year's, and unfortunately, we're just seeing, large gatherings all around. I know in Mumbai they were banned for these 2 days over Saturday, Sunday because of the Omicron cases. But yes, I think that's something everybody has to now be concerned about and practice for themselves. And there is a risk now of again another surge of cases spreading. Thank you so much, Doctor, for taking time out and answering all our questions and telling us about your views on the prevalent situation.